Well, I don't know much. I don't know much about these guys' play styles, honestly, besides what we saw today. So I'm not really sure what's the best pick for for each guy in terms of style.
Well, that's gonna be a little subjective, right? Because if you're a cheesy guy, you like smaller maps and this, that, and the other.
Right.
But I think what terrifies me a bit is Goblin picking a standard map like this as a player who has many different angles he'll reach out for. This is gotta be scary for Soul to predict what's going on. If it's a weird gimmicky map, you know there's only one way to play it. But on a standard map, it leaves a lot of opportunities for this guy spawning in the top right with that segue transition. It's Goblin.
So good.
And his opponent, of course, still on his last life, looking to bring it back once more. It's Soul.
We've seen some really good games today from pretty much everyone involved. There hasn't really been much for a weak match in general, and I hate to keep harping on it or pumping his tires, but Goblin is just winning me over today.
He's a fun guy.
It's nice to see somebody do something that's not consistently
bland,
what everyone else
boring.
is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that note, too, I should probably talk a little bit about this. There's a lot of players that were unavailable to play because, well, WCS is going on. So we didn't have like necessarily everybody at our fingertips. But I was really glad to get the players I did because almost every single player in this group of 8 people we invited to play, and I'm not trying to single anyone out by saying a name wrong or something, they're all very fun in their own ways, and I think we did luck out on getting some of the more entertaining players that are also good players, don't get me wrong, but for me, I classify Goblin as not a guy I expect to win first in a tournament, even though he might today, but more of a player that I'm going to enjoy watching regardless of where he places, so he's a fun invite for sure.
Yeah, and that's... Honestly, that is the reason why I haven't watched professional games for the vast majority of my StarCraft career. Just because, although casters make games, even if they're not the most exciting games, I could listen to Nathanius and Roddy and all those, In Control and all those fun guys
and Rifkin too.
Do their thing. And Rifkin, but you're a little bit different, right? You're a little bit, and that's the reason why I invited you and Nathaniel both to this, because you guys are fun. But in terms of like just real high-level pro stuff, sure, it's a beautiful thing to watch, technically and stuff like that, especially if you really understand the game. But there comes a point where it just becomes so monotonous and so repetitive. And that's what I love about games and tournaments and events like this is it's a nice break. Sure, we don't want all StarCraft to be like this, but it's nice to have the odd tournament once in a while where you can just kind of, unbutton your shirt a little bit and loosen the belt and not take things so serious and just have fun with it. And that's what these players are doing today, and I'm having a good time being here.
Well, I think that's where you guys knocked out of the park with win, cheese, fails and stuff like that, because it was different. It's not what you expect to see. It's not what was being broadcast by everybody. Because even back then, when you guys started that stuff up, you had 8 different organizations. You had NASL, IPLs, MLGs, WCS. Like everybody was putting out the same product, and you managed to find a fun one. And I think that's why it really, really did well.
Yeah, it was part
Nobody
of the.
really
It was
remembers
a madness.
us, but we did do well for the people.
Yeah, those are fair weather fans who come and go with winners and losers of tournaments, right?
Hey, we've done all right.
Ooh, that's gonna sting.
There's beautiful pickup. Adept doing no damage, no scouting information, whole lot of nothing. So yeah, there's that. Goblin is going for the Stargate. Once again, this doesn't surprise me. Oracles, and I'm sure we're going to see even more Oracles. You know what I want to see? I want to see Goblin win this game, but with some crazy stasis mines. I want to just see everything just getting trapped up.
Well,
that would be fun.
Again, that's because stasis is just not something that you see used in that kind of like liberal way.
Well, there's the joke about the stasis traps, but there's also the very serious factor that like if you do get to like 12 oracles, they'll let you just tear through everything. Doesn't matter whether there's a marine. I mean, you saw how quickly one tanked out to 3 oracles. So
yeah,
I think you put the stasis traps down, you're given enough time to get energy, combine the two, and you're just going to be fighting a weakened Terran army with really powerful units.
Well, what do we have here? Is there anything out of the norm happening? Because I feel like this is the most standard game we may have seen all game, or all day, I should say, from anybody. I mean, it looks like we're really going to be going into some sort of mid to late game. There's no sense of urgency here from either player.
Also, Braid AF has asked for a recount, and finally, after like 40 minutes of refreshing, it's updated. The current count for today, guys, $3,523.83, and that's, I believe, US. So it's a lot of Canadian cash for this Canadian charity.
Wow,
Let's
insane.
go.
Thank you so much, man. World Vision's going to love all of y'all, and so are the kids, even though they'll never meet you, but just know they love you when they're eating, and they have shelter, and they have education.
I would love, like, you know,
Exactly.
you can write to the kids and, like, send them letters and stuff, but instead you just, oh, you can't?
You can. Yeah, you
oh,
can.
sorry, I thought you couldn't. I was like, wait a minute, what? I thought I understood this. I would love
Just
to use
crush your dreams.
World Vision just takes, like, screenshots of Twitch chat. Just
That'd be
prints it out to
awesome.
mail
Yeah.
to-
Here you go. All right, he's going to start moving out here. He always puts these stasis in weird corners too, like, you know,
kinda
in places
have to,
that you just
though.
wouldn't expect. Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
same
you
with
just
those
wouldn't
random Widow
expect it.
Mines. Like, if they're out in the expected area, everyone avoids them. But if they're off to
That's
the
right.
side, maybe you get caught up in the heat of battle, you don't notice it.
Yeah, no, I honestly am one of those nubs that'll just put them in sort of places that you would think they'd be.
Oh, I like the recall.
And, yeah, very good
does he-
recall, saving.
Okay, 3 out of 4.
Saved a lot of his army there, and it looks like Terran is going to push up. Army is, you know, relatively scary. It doesn't think it's going to be enough to you know, to end this game, but it is a scary push, and he isn't building a third in behind it either. There's no. Oh, there it is. Okay, never mind. There is a command center just going down right now. I was going to say, like, this has got to be an all-in if he's not planning on expanding anytime soon. He's going to realize that this third has been up for a while here for Goblin. His army isn't all that scary, but with Stasis, Revelation, and some force fields there, this is scary. Now, if I'm playing in my league right now and I'm up against a Protoss and say I was Terran, I would be taking this fight, because to hit everything correctly, to hit those force fields correctly, to use your adepts correctly, and those oracles requires a lot of very good micro and just mechanical skills. But, you know, player like Goblin, you just can't go and aimlessly push in and do what you want, because you're going to pay dearly for it. That army, you know, will kill you. You know, it just will.
I do like some of the subtleties to the side of this, like whether it's trying to drop the Widow Mine or landing the Viking. They were all great distractions, and once he realizes that army's out of position, he does go for it. He jumps on the Nexus, he grabs the probes. This should be an easy base for him to get, and he can always get out, too.
Yeah, it was very nice.
That was
He
nice
gets that
there.
third.
He managed to just. I mean, he barely had to use anything to get the distraction to work. It was just the single medevac with the single Widow Mine, and
it worked.
It was all
Oh my god, no way.
There it is, boys.
Wow, dude. Are
Get
we
out
going
of town.
Going to the final.
That was such a beautiful play, man. That was really, really nice.
That was really, really well done.
Unbelievable.